everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela. I am the content creator behind KandidKayla.com, where I help you help us become the best we that we can be together. I am going to go ahead and get into it because this video is going to be hecka long. I am going to talk all about my 2019 in review. So 2019 has been a crazy year. I have documented most of my year in some way, shape, or fashion, but I just wanted to come on here and do like a sit down, talk through like I do almost every year, because I just feel like this is a great place to kind of have it all summarized. If you guys want like more details, you're more than welcome. I posted a bunch of vlogs throughout the year. I have a bunch of like checkups throughout the year for the first half of the year. I can go ahead, it's already out there. You can definitely go back if you're more interested in any of these themes. I'm going to definitely glance over a bunch of things. So let's start off with the biggest wins and the biggest losses for the year, and then I'm going to kind of go through the different stages of where I was throughout the year and put each of these things into context. My biggest wins for the year was I went to my first scientific conference. I cleared my proposal and I am now a PhD candidate officially. And I made it through sickness. My biggest failure this year was that when confronted with spiritual adversity, people that were differing in opinion, I had one particular instance where I was stopped by some gentlemen on the street and I blew up. I could not contain myself. So if you haven't watched any of my previous videos from this year, just a bit of a synopsis over the different stages that I went through this year. At the beginning of the year, I was in this really unique place. I was excited to be alive. I was excited to go in super headstrong and super passionate about what God had for me to do this year. This is my 23rd year of life. So I titled that my Jordan year, obviously for Michael Jordan, but also I wanted to do some investigating into the spiritual principles and what that looked like. Understanding that this year I knew was going to be a transition for me. I knew it was going to be very different than what I was used to. I just didn't realize how different. So on December 30th, I had a surprise party thrown for me that was discussed in my last yearly review. But on that day, I got a massage. And for some reason, by the end of January, my bruises from that massage never went away. And I was still in pain from the massage. It was cause for concern for me. So I went into the doctor the last week of January and had an awful experience. The doctor pretty much dismissed me, told me I was crazy, and was like, well, you don't take this one particular medication like you should, so because of that, I don't really care about what symptoms you have. And just pushed me off. A week later, I started the hardest 3 months of my entire life. I have never been physically sick in my body before. I had officially gotten sick. So that first day, it was a Sunday, so my throat was hurting towards the end of Sunday night. And I was just having these weird just pains in my body still. And I just thought it was from the massage. And then I had this bruise show up that wasn't there from the massage. So I woke up the next morning, I couldn't swallow my spit. My throat was hurting so bad and my body was like aching, and I couldn't walk up a flight of steps. All of this was surrounding, also I had an exam the week before, and so I thought maybe my body was just decompressing from the exam. By maybe 11 o'clock in the morning, my throat was hurting on the inside and the outside. I got to Malachi's room and I just broke down in tears, and I was like, please, can you just take me to the hospital? I don't know what's happening. So I go to patient first instead of going to the ER, and they do strep test, flu test, everything. They can't find anything. They put me on prednisone, and they're like, we wish you the best. I call my mom because I knew this was not just prednisone is gonna fix it. Mind you, from April 2018 up to that point, I was getting these uncontrollable and unexplainable hives all over my body. But it was getting really bad at this point with the sickness. It was exacerbating the hives. The hives weren't going away. Everything was swollen. I'm gonna maybe insert some pictures. I haven't decided yet, but my nose was literally like this big on my face. Like my fingers, I couldn't make a fist with my hands. My joints were so swollen I couldn't wear my rings or anything. Mind you, I've worn these rings through the biggest weight gain, the heaviest I've ever been, and I've always been able to wear my ring. I couldn't wear my ring. I was in so much pain. So by the time my mom had made it that Monday, I had taken a prednisone and I was able to get up long enough to make dinner. And after that, it was just this long hill battle of unexplained hives, unexplained swelling, unexplained pain, to the point where I couldn't walk. I couldn't really eat like that. I didn't really want to eat like that. I was just in so much pain, and I have never felt anything like that in all my days. I took my first ambulance ride because I was in so much pain. My heart was like tachycardic. My resting heart rate was well over 120 on the regular. I couldn't get my heart rate to go down. We just had no idea what was going on. My mom sat with me as long as she could. It was about 3 weeks, and we just couldn't figure out what was going on. I was high for a month straight because the medication that they had me on which was a cycle of Tylenol and Motrin, cycled throughout the day so that I stayed pain-free, was the only way that I was good. I went on like that, not being able to drive until April, and to this day they still don't know what was wrong. My white blood cell count was through the roof. They can't figure out why. They have no idea whatsoever to this day why I was having the symptoms I was having. I went to a bunch of different specialists. Nobody could tell me what was wrong. And so one day I went to a wedding, and I was due to work the wedding for some friends of mine. And at the end of the wedding, the mother of the bride had called together a bunch of the elders and pastors that were there that day to pray for me. And I can't express to you what took place in that room, but I know that it was nothing but the power of God himself that came to see about me on that their day, because we had prayed, but we just couldn't get through. And I was just going through, and Malachi said it best. He was like, you're in a Job season. God is trying to test you for something. I don't know why he was testing me. To this day, I don't know what really I was supposed to learn, but I got a lot out of it. And I left that room that day. I had an excellent conversation that all the way up to the end of the night, and with like family and stuff. I had my last bit of hives that day and haven't had them since. And when I tell you the swelling went down, like within the week, the swelling was gone, the hives were gone, and I have been free ever since. My blood work comes back normal, and I'm telling you, it's only God. Like, I can't describe to you what took place, but I know that there is a God for no other reason than the fact that I am healed. You don't see a single hive on my body. My skin is like out here flourishing, okay, honey? Like, I got my beauty marks from my cycle, and that's it. I can't express to you what took place, but I know that it was the power of God that touched my body. And sometimes it's the things you can't explain that mean the most. So that's how the year began. I'm still, during this entire process, I'm still doing this study on like the Jordan and the significance of like this being my Jordan year, and like what that means and the significance and all of that. And the biggest thing is the Jordan River is a place of transition. It is this place that the Lord has ordained and has shown symbolically time and time again through his word. It's this place of transition. And if you'd like to hear more about that, you can see that in my first review, my quarterly review. But I knew walking into this year that this was going to be transition. It was going to be different, but I never in a million years would have thought how different. So coming out of that, by that time summer had hit, and I was like, all right, Lord, you've given me, like, I lived. I mean, to not have your body function at all, and then to just walk out unscathed and have everything work perfectly, I was like, I'm going to use this as my opportunity to push myself into a new me, push myself into that transition that I'm talking about. So starting in May, I took time, just as soon as school let out, I took time to really focus on myself and really take the time to do the work. The caveat here is, at the beginning of 2019, I published 2 papers, right? And then I had these pesky exams educationally throughout. I had started taking them in September of 18, and all the way up until April of 19, I still wasn't done. And so I was like, well, I'm going to take the summer months to get myself together so that I can finally pass these exams. Because moral of the story is, those exams were getting my everlasting nerves. I honestly feel like they were part of the reason why I got sick. So May till August, I worked my hiney off. Literally, my whole hind parts is gone, y'all. It don't exist no more. I put a whole bunch of different things into place in order to get myself to where I really wanted to be spiritually and emotionally. I have finally made my vision board. As you can see, I had my goals written down, but I didn't put it on paper until May 17th. And so I took that opportunity to really reassess my year, because getting sick took a lot out of the chunk of my year. It put me behind my goals and where I wanted to be. So I was like, you know what, Lord, we're going to get on this and we're going to grind it out. So the biggest thing is I implemented bullet journaling to keep track of my time and keep track of my activities. I also put into place exercising. So I started off just very basic using the Couch to 5K app. I wanted to start running. Last year I was working out pretty heavy towards the end of the year, but then after me getting sick, I just stopped going to the gym altogether. Started running in June, and that kind of changed the game for me. Started implementing 2-a-days in the summer, cardio in the morning, and weight training in the evening or something like that, you know? I put into place a steady quiet time, so just ensuring that I have that one-on-one time with God to hear from Him, grow, learn, and have Him influence my life. After Him healing me, I kind of just felt indebted. I felt like it wasn't a relationship anymore. I felt like it was more of a doctor-patient relationship. And I wanted to get back to that closeness that I had before then. Lastly, I just put into practice accountability, like self-accountability, and making sure that I was being introspective. So on top of all of those things, like having these powwow sessions with God where I was like, look, these are the certain types of goals that I'm trying to make it to by the end of the year, Lord. How do I get there? And these are the steps that I'm going to take. You tell me if it's right or wrong. Or let's have a conversation about my baggage. How do I remove my baggage? How do I deal with my baggage? How do I love that part of myself even though I don't necessarily care for it? So that started this really unique kind of journey. You know, there's this meme going around online right now, and it's like 2019 felt like 2 different years. It definitely did. Sick me and new me. Because I'm a completely different person today than I was on January 1st, 2019. And I'm glad. So that whole introspective journey, I was like, I'm really pushing God to get through this transition. And I want to be the person on the other side. And I didn't necessarily like the person I saw in the mirror up to that point. So with that being said, I had all of these amazing things happen during the summer. Like I started exercising, like I said, so I'm starting to see actual differences in my body that I wasn't expecting. I was putting into place these different things to ensure that I was productive, and that was the biggest thing for me. I never had looked at myself as being unproductive, but when you start writing things down, and in a bullet journal, when you start realizing that you're pushing tasks off for longer than 3 days, you realize how unproductive you are. So all of that kind of pushed me into like going to this conference, and the conference, like I said, was an amazing experience. Essentially, I'm in a room full of Ivy Leaguers, and I've never even stepped foot on an Ivy League campus, and being in a room full of people who went there or go there or are represented from those types of environments, it definitely opened my eyes to the value that there is in myself, the value there is in my education, and like the different universities I did choose to go to. I don't think had I not gone to my undergrad university, I would have been prepared for that type of environment. After that, I went to Texas and had my annual turn up in Texas, which was great, but I think this year I kind of had an understanding that I'm too grown for all this. Like, I don't really party like I used to. I don't really want to party like I used to. I surely don't drink like at all. I've always been a lightweight, but like I really don't drink like that. I let somebody make my drink and I drink it, and it hit me way harder than I've ever felt alcohol hit me before, and I don't think I've drank since. Like, I don't think it's something I'm interested in anymore. Because I like the taste of alcohol, and I hate the way that made me feel. So I'm good without it. By the end of the summer, I have realized I'm ready for whatever God is pushing me into, or so I thought. So then the fall came, and I just felt so overwhelmed by the baggage that I had refused to handle. And I felt like I needed to really take some time to ensure that that baggage was taken care of. Especially going into 2020, the Lord began to speak to me specifically about some things that I'll be walking into next year, or this coming year, or this year. I guess you'll be singing this when it's this year. So I knew that there were some specific things that needed to be taken care of and dealt with inside of myself walking into this year. And so I went on a 40-day fast starting on September 1st. And let me tell y'all, honey bunches of oats. It was the hardest fast I've ever been on in all my days. I have a video coming all about fasting and all of that, but just to give you a brief synopsis, the first 30 days was the Lord beating me into submission. It was so hard, I wasn't ready. Like, the baggage, when you tell the Lord, hey God, I'm fasting on behalf of my baggage, be ready, honey. You think you're gonna be ready? You can't even be ready. Let me start there. It was so bad, and I just didn't realize how much hurt I had, how much anger, how much hatred, how much discomfort, how much baggage and just blame I was giving other people that I wouldn't take on myself. And I really worked through some things, y'all. Like, I honestly think that I could walk into this year confidently because of that fast. The Lord spoke to me about every avenue of my life. I literally wrote a list of everything. I was like, Lord, I want you. It was a list in the beginning of like 23, 24 things. Things I was just like, okay, Lord, I need you to speak to me on behalf of all of these things, and I need clear answers. To me, that list expanding into subcategories and subsections, and I mean, from things as simple as, Lord, I'm fasting on behalf of my weight at the time. I was at a good place. I was at about 152 pounds. I looked good though. Like, it was a curvy, cute little 152 pounds. But I felt like my body just didn't feel good. If that makes any sense. Like, I wasn't happy in my body. I didn't feel good. Like, I still haven't gone shopping yet because I'm not just where I really, really want to be. When it comes to my body, my skin was awful. I just felt bad. Like, I can't describe it, but I felt bad. Like, my hair stopped growing and I just wasn't feeling good. I fasted on behalf of that. I fasted on behalf of everybody that was supposed to be in my life. Like, down to the person. Like, if you in any way are associated with me, you got prayed about, and I asked the Lord if you're supposed to be there or not. Like, and the Lord kept some people. The Lord got rid of some people I had asked him to get rid of. The Lord had brought in new relationships. The Lord had strengthened like old relationships, and really had brought me to a place of like feeling satisfied in my relationships, because I'm still praying and had been praying back then for a group of godly African American women to come alongside me that are in a similar place of life. I don't know too many women in their 20s that are trying to live for God wholeheartedly and aren't married and don't have kids. And praying and asking the Lord for that. I definitely think my day is coming. But I also think that he has strengthened and shown me value in the relationships that I have. Like, I realized for the first time in my whole life that there are more guy friends than girlfriends for me. So I've had more guy friends than girlfriends in the past, but my relationship with my guy friends right now are way stronger than my relationship with a lot of my girlfriends. And I honestly appreciate that for the season that I'm in, because I can't deal with the cattiness, and a lot of times your relationships with your girlfriends comes with a bit of that. So God has been really showing up and like using me in their life and using them in my life. And even with my girlfriends that I am close with, there's like 3 of them I could say I'm super, super tight with. I feel like God is just showing us something new, like showing us different evolutions of ourselves and each other, different evolutions of our relationship with him, in each other, different evolutions of who we are to be as women in each other. And so that's been super, super great. That is only from the fast, because I think my relationships would have stayed the same otherwise. But that fast catalyzed something in me that, it brings you to the version of me today, which is somebody who I believe is healthier and stronger and wiser, somebody who loves way harder, somebody who is open now to the idea of being in love, which we just gonna go ahead, glance over this real quick, go ahead and get this out the way, because I'm not talking about it no more for the rest of the video. But relationship wise, I told y'all where it was last year. At the end of last year, I just honestly didn't care, and I was over it all, and I could do without, and I was really butthurt. All through the beginning of this year, I was really just kind of like, bruh, I'm done. Like, I was still having these like weird and almost awful experiences, and I had gone on a couple dates, and I just felt like it just wasn't it, and I just really didn't want to be in these situations anymore. And then I wasn't interested. I'm just over it. And honestly, it's not something that comes up to my mind as often until somebody brings it up. So then it's kind of like, do I really care type of situation. But now one of my goals for next year is to put myself in a position to be able to receive love. So I realized this year that the reason why a lot of people are attracted to me in a certain kind of way, even though I don't feel the same way, is because I show love in the purest way possible, I think. I've never really had hurt in that category. I've never got my heart broken or anything like that. I've never had somebody cheat on me or nothing like that. I've been very protected. God has protected me, and I'm very grateful for that. And so because of that, I still show love in the same kind of way that maybe somebody who's 12 or 13 and has never been hurt before shows love. So it's very authentic, it's very full, it's very complete, and I know that about myself. But knowing that, I have a lot of boundaries. So once you do get to that place where you feel that kind of love from me, even if we're like not romantically involved, you will still get that kind of love from me. So my goal for next year is to be able to accept love from other people, knowing that not everybody loves the way that I love. So a lot of times people's love is broken, but it might take for me to love them to show them how to love more completely. I don't know how to say that any other way. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I know that nobody can love me the way necessarily that I want to be loved unless I show them or tell them how I want to be loved. And I also know that a lot of people come with their own level of baggage that maybe I don't have, and I'm gonna have to just learn how to deal with that. So yeah, relationship wise, going into next year, my mother asked me a great question, and I've been perplexed about it, but she asked me, and I quote, "Why won't you let that man love you?" End quote. And I was just like, I'm still kind of like, So we're there. Going into next year, we are like, maybe we'll work on it. So that's where I am going into this year. So we're just gonna leave that there. We're not gonna talk about this anymore because it makes me uncomfortable, and I'm literally like sweating just from that little bit. So into the next section, looking at my goals for myself for the year that I did not share last year, I will go over them right now by showing you this vision board. All right, starting here, I have my personal goals, financial goals, spiritual, educational, relational, emotional, hair, physical, and business goals at the end. So my personal goals for the year, I wanted to operate in fullness and not lack. I wanted to walk in God's divine will for my life. I wanted to begin to walk in my dreams, clean out my heart and the junk drawers, and allow the Lord to manifest his power in my heart and life. And that all definitely happened, and I'm so very, very, very happy about it. I started to understand the concept of walking in abundance. I'm not 100% there, but I'm definitely more there, walking in fullness and abundance and understanding like God doesn't want us to live in lack in any capacity at all. So yeah, my financial goals. So I did not get my Tesla as of 2:26 p.m. on December 31st, 2019. However, I still do believe that it is only 2 o'clock. The Lord has 10 more hours to blow my mind, 9.5 more hours to blow my mind and pull up with the Tesla for free on my front lawn. I will keep y'all posted if that happens. I did not make $100,000 this year, and I'm okay with it. I did not bring my mom on as an administrator. I did not start the bank account that I wanted to start. I did not buy my first income property yet. And I have 7 sources of income. Spiritually, I wanted to walk by faith, not by sight. I wanted to build a relationship with God solely independent and irrespective of my blessings. So I don't want it to always be like asking God for something. I wanted to grow in the Bible. I wanted to memorize 52 new scriptures. I wanted a clean heart. I wanted to complete my credentialing to become a pastor, and I wanted a childlike innocence in my relationship with God. I did not complete my credentialing. I did not memorize 52 new verses. I accomplished everything else though. Educationally, I wanted to stop procrastinating. 2 more papers written outside of the 2 that I published. I wanted to get put on RA starting in the summer of 2019, meaning I wouldn't have to teach anymore. I wanted to go into the spring semester only having to drive into work for 2 days a week. I wanted to go to a conference, and I wanted to make relationships with people in my field. I wanted to be offered funding, collaboration, and job opportunities aligned with my purpose. I wanted to learn to be more professional, and I wanted to get one of my papers published on the cover of a journal. So almost with the journal cover, they asked us to submit artwork or whatever for that, but I don't think it was selected. I did not get 2 more papers written. I'm in the process of writing my first author paper right now. I did get RA. I still procrastinate like crazy. I did only have to go into work twice a week in the spring. I did go to a conference. I did make acquaintances, not necessarily friends. I was offered funding, collaboration, and job opportunities aligned with my purpose. And I definitely think I'm way more professional because, honey, I don't talk like that at work. And I also can keep my thoughts to myself, even though it be like welling up inside. Relationally, I definitely enjoy social activity now, whereas I hated it before. I definitely have way better conversations. I'm not 100% there though, still working on that. I've definitely improved the depth of my friendships to the best of my ability. I think my relationships that are closest to me have definitely grown way deeper, especially after me getting sick and realizing who's there for you and who's not. I've definitely forgiven myself for past relationships. I had a lot of regret over some dumb things I did in college, and I am so happy that I'm over them because it won't that deep. I could have definitely been doing way worse, so I'm so happy that I've gotten past that. I finally forgive myself for where I was, and I'm so expectant for where I'm going, because it's definitely a part of my story, but it's not the end all be all of my story, thank God. And honey, I'm not emotionally available at all. So, yeah, I haven't gotten any direct guidance from the Lord. Yay. So, emotionally, I'm not going to say that I'm anxiety free. I can definitely say I'm depression free, but I don't think I'm anxiety free. I have a lot of anxiety about a lot of things all the time, every day, including this video right now. I don't know how I will necessarily get past that, but I'm walking in what I can. I've definitely learned to stop deflecting my problems though, and to definitely face them head on and to get closure in real time. Hair goals. I found a cure for dandruff. I'm looking here. You can see my hair is not tailbone length, but it's definitely way longer than it probably been in years past, and it's a way healthier. Physically, I'm not off my medications. I actually take more medications today than ever before. I take 13 medications every single day. As a result of me getting sick at the beginning of the year, I just realized that there's certain medications that they're not all medications, a lot of them are vitamins, but there's certain things I like to take that make me feel better and allow me to keep the busy life that I have. I definitely exercise on a regular basis, and I have not acquired any new injuries. Business wise, I wanted to launch my business this year, and I definitely have way more clientele, but I did not launch this year. Unfortunately, we will be launching next year, and I'm very, very, very excited about it. For those who don't know, I sell a shea butter based product at the current moment. I have some other products on the way. Those who do know what's up, and a lot of people are really enjoying the product. A lot of people swear by the product and they're having these amazing results from it. So I'm super duper excited to kind of see where that goes and where the Lord takes that for this coming year. That's pretty much all of the goals that I have for myself. It's pretty much my year in a nutshell. Like I said, the video is long, but if you made it to this point, thank you so much. And as always, I will see y'all next year. Thank you guys so much for your time and for watching this video, and until next time, bye.